I, 32M, have been with my girlfriend, Jessica, 29F, for about 2 years. It's been fine. Good, even. We have a rhythm. She's beautiful, charming, and has this magnetic energy that pulls people in. But there's always been a thread of something else, a kind of transactional quality to her affection that I chose to ignore. Love makes you stupid, I guess. Her 30th birthday was approaching, and the chatter started about a month ago. It was always going to be a big deal. Jessica doesn't do small. Her friend group, a tight-knit coven of 10 women who all seem to share the same brain and penchant for brunch, were buzzing. The other night, she sat me down on the couch. This was her serious talk face, chin tilted down, eyes wide, hands clasped together on her knee. It's a look designed to make you feel like you're about to receive a sacred honor. "Babe," she started, her voice soft and buttery. "So, we've been talking about my birthday. We meant her and the coven." I braced myself, and we've decided. We're going to Vegas. I nodded slowly. "Okay, sounds fun. What's the plan?" This is where it gets good. She slid her phone across the coffee table. It was open to a page for a suite at the Wynn. The kind of suite with multiple rooms, a private bar, and a view that costs more than my car. "The girls and I are to fly out on Thursday and come back Sunday," she said, beaming. "It's going to be epic. Spa days, dinners at Nobu, bottle service at Omnia." She listed a few more brand names that all sounded expensive. "Wow, that's a serious trip," I said. "Have you guys started booking stuff?" She gave a little laugh, a delicate puff of air. "Well, that's the other thing." She leaned in, placing her hand on my thigh. Her touch felt less like affection and more like she was marking her territory. "You've had such a good year, and I know how much you love doing big romantic gestures. We were hoping you'd want to do something really special for me." For my gift, I kept my face perfectly still. "What did you have in mind?" "My gift," she said, as if it were the most obvious thing in the world. "You could book the flights for all of us. And the suite. A little birthday present for me and my besties." I just stared at her, all 11 of them, to Vegas, in a Wynn suite, with flights, on my dime. The sheer, unadulterated audacity of it was almost impressive. I could see her friends in my mind's eye, a gallery of expectant faces, having already discussed it, planned it, and decided my role in their grand production. They weren't asking. They were informing me of my financial obligations. For a second, the world went quiet. I felt that familiar, hot spike of anger in my chest. The feeling of being not just unappreciated, but actively assessed and exploited. It was the same feeling I'd had when she'd borrowed my credit card to buy a dress for a wedding and forgot to tell me it cost $800. Or when she'd insisted I co-sign the lease on our apartment because her credit was a little messy, only for me to find out she'd stiffed her last 3 landlords. But I've learned that anger is a messy, inefficient emotion. It makes you sloppy. So I pushed it down, deep down, until it was a cold, hard little stone in my gut. And then I smiled. A nice, wide, accommodating smile. "Wow, babe," I said. "That's a big ask. But you know what? You only turned 30 once." Her face lit up. Pure, unadulterated triumph. She thought she'd won. "So you'll do it?" she squealed, throwing her arms around my neck. I patted her back. "Done," I said. And I meant it. Update. It's amazing what you can accomplish with a clear head and a high-speed internet connection. The week after the request was a masterclass in quiet, meticulous work. Jessica was in heaven, telling anyone who would listen how generous and amazing her boyfriend was. She and her friends were in a constant flurry of texts, sharing links to designer bikinis and ridiculously expensive shoes. They were crafting their Instagram posts before they even stepped on a plane. They sent me a shared document with everyone's full legal names and dates of birth. For the tickets. So helpful. My first stop was the Spirit Airlines website. I searched for one-way tickets to Las Vegas. For Thursday, just like she wanted. 11 of them. The price was gloriously, beautifully low. I clicked purchase. Next, the accommodations. The Wynn was a bit outside the budget I'd set for this particular gift. But I found some lovely alternatives. Plural. I booked 3 separate rooms at 3 separate, non-adjoining establishments, all located a healthy, inconvenient distance from the Strip and from each other. Room 1, One room with 2 double beds at a Motel 6, booked under Jessica and Sarah's names. Room 2. One room with 2 double beds at a Super 8 about 1.5 miles away from the Motel 6, booked under 2 of the other friends' names. Room 3. One room with 2 double beds at a Travelodge in another direction entirely, booked under 2 more friends' names. That accounted for 6 of the 11 girls. The other 5? No rooms at all. I figured they could work it out amongst themselves. The reservations were for 3 nights, checking in on Thursday. Paid in full. I then forwarded the flight confirmations to the entire group in a single email. Subject: Vegas baby. Body: hey everyone, tickets are booked. See attached. Get ready for a wild birthday weekend for Jessica. PS traveled light with just the bare fare to save money for the fun stuff. You can add bags at the airport if you need to. The email went out at 10 p.m. on Wednesday night. Their flight was at 6 a.m. the next morning. I didn't hear anything for about an hour. Then my phone started vibrating. It was Jessica. I let go to voicemail. Then it rang again and again. The barrage of texts began shortly after. Jessica, call me right now. What the FUCK is this Spirit Airlines one-way? Are you kidding me? This is humiliating. And where is the hotel confirmation? You said you were handling it. You said done. Me, I did handle it. You're all going to Vegas. Jessica, you sent the hotel info to Sarah. A Motel 6? One room. Were the other 9 of us supposed to do? Me, not just one room. I sent the other confirmations to the girls whose names they are under. I got 3 rooms to give you all some privacy. You should coordinate. This was the beauty of the plan. She had no central information. The other girls with reservations were now getting their own separate, confusing emails. The ones without reservations were getting nothing. The group chat must have been pure chaos. My phone lit up with texts from numbers I didn't even have saved. Random number. Hey, this is Susan, Jessica's friend. I didn't get a hotel confirmation. Where am I staying? Another random number. My confirmation says a Super 8. Is this a joke? Jessica's follow-up text was a masterpiece of rage. Jessica, are you insane? You split us up into different crackhead motels? And you only booked for 6 people? 5 of us don't have a room. This is a nightmare. I believe this is what they call a logistical problem. I turned my phone on silent. I had to get some sleep. I had a big day ahead of me. Thursday was moving day. Update. Thursday morning was quiet. Blissfully quiet. I woke up at 7 a.m., made coffee, and looked around the apartment. It's a 2-bedroom, and when I moved in, Jessica had immediately claimed the 2nd bedroom as her closet/office. It was less of an office and more of a dragon's. Or of fast fashion, makeup palettes, and shoes. Jessica and her friends, in their pre-Vegas frenzy, had left the apartment looking like a tornado had a seizure in it. Clothes, makeup, and empty white claw cans were everywhere. I took extensive timestamp photos. My landlord, a stern but fair man named Richard, was my first call. I knew from past experience he hated tenant drama, so I approached this carefully. Richard, good morning. It's David from 3B. Hope you're well. David, everything all right? Mostly. I'm calling to ask about procedure, really. My girlfriend, Jessica, who is on a lease with me, has informed me she is relocating and has vacated the apartment. It's been left in a pretty rough state. I was wondering what the formal process is for handling property left behind by a tenant who has vacated. Richard was skeptical. What do you mean, relocating? She give you written notice? No, a verbal confirmation. She's currently in Las Vegas. I said, look, I know she's on the lease, but she's made it clear she isn't coming back to the apartment. I just want to ensure I'm following the lease agreement to the letter. Clause 7B, I think about abandonment of property. I'm happy to send you photos of the current state of the unit. By framing it as a procedural question and referencing the specific lease clause, I wasn't a frantic boyfriend. I was a concerned tenant trying to follow the rules. This was crucial. Richard grunted. All right, send the photos. The rule is you need to give her formal written notice to collect her things. 30 days. Send it register mail so you have proof. Keep me in the loop. I immediately drafted a formal notice and sent it to Jessica's email and to her parents' address via registered mail. The paper trail had begun. Meanwhile, in Vegas, the social fabric of the coven had been shredded. The airport was a disaster. The bare fare note meant they were all hit with massive last-minute baggage fees they hadn't budgeted for. Then, upon landing, the room situation detonated. The 6 with rooms refused to let the 5 without rooms stay with them, as it would get them kicked out. Jessica, Sarah, and the 2 other girls who ended up in the Motel 6 and Super 8 rooms apparently went ahead, while the rest of the group imploded. I learned later that some of them booked a flight straight back home on their own dime, screaming at Jessica over the phone from the airport. My phone was a wasteland of venomous texts from Jessica. Jessica, I hate you. You have ruined my 30th birthday. My friends are fighting with me because of you. We have no money. We have no way to get home. You need to send me money right now. You owe me. I don't think I do. I paid for the trip you demanded. I can't help it if you don't like the accommodations or the company. Her next move was predictable. She called Richard, our landlord, and played the victim. I was the crazy, controlling boyfriend who had locked her out. She cried. It was probably a very convincing performance. Richard called me immediately after. David, Jessica just called me in tears. Said you've illegally evicted her. That's odd, because she's in Vegas, I said calmly. Richard, I haven't changed any locks. All I did, as we discussed, was send her a formal notice to collect her abandoned property after she informed me she was vacating. I have the postal receipt right here. I also filed a police report this morning. A police report? For some stolen items, yes, I said. My noise-canceling headphones, my tablet. A few other things. They went missing right around the time she left. I didn't name her as a suspect, of course. I just reported the theft to have it on record. A beat of silence on Richard's end. I could almost hear him mentally shredding Jessica's sob story. He was now armed with my paper trail versus her hysterical phone call. I see. Well, sounds like you're handling it. Carry on, David. Final update. It's been about a month. The dust has, for the most part, settled. Jessica and the few who stuck it out in Vegas made it back about a week after they left. How? From what I can piece together, Jessica's parents had to wire them money. Not just for the flights home, on Spirit, again, poetically, but also to settle bills with the motels. Apparently, one of the rooms incurred a cleaning fee due to an explosive argument involving a bottle of cheap vodka and a makeup bag. The police never showed up at my door. Instead, I got a flurry of demands via email for her belongings. She sent me a 10-page list of items, some of which I'm fairly certain never existed. She wanted me to pack it all in boxes and leave it with the doorman of her parents' very expensive apartment building. I replied with a polite email. Subject, your belongings. Body, Jessica, as per my formal notice dated date, you have until the 15th to collect your property at a mutually agreed upon time. I am available Tuesday or Thursday evenings between 6 and 8 p.m. Please let me know which day works for you. P.S. I also have a demand letter for you detailing outstanding expenses. Let me know the best address to send it to. The demand letter was my favorite part. I had hired professional cleaners. I had to replace the locks, a prudent security measure. And then there was the matter of her half of the rent and utilities for the final month. All in, she owed me a little over $2,000. She ignored my email. A few days later, she showed up at the apartment building with Sarah, unannounced, while I was at work. They tried to sweet-talk the concierge into letting them up. He, having been given a heads-up and a crisp $50 bill from me, politely refused. They caused a scene. The building manager was called. Her deadline of the 15th came and went. I paid a couple of guys to haul all her stuff to a storage unit. I then paid the fee for the first month. Then I filed a case in small claims court for the $2,000 she owed me, plus the cost of the movers and the first month of storage. I attached copies of the lease, the photos of the trash department, the cleaning bill, the locksmith's invoice, the registered mail receipt, and our text exchange where she clearly states her intention to have me pay for everything. The piece de resistance was a screenshot from Sarah's Instagram story, one she'd posted before the meltdown, captioned, "Vegas bound to celebrate our girl Jessica. So spoiled by her man David. The court date is in 2 months. She'll either have to pay me or not show up and have a judgment against her, which will do wonders for her already messy credit. The social fallout has been biblical. The coven is no more. It's shattered. The friends who never even got a room blame her for the entire fiasco. The two other friends who went with them are furious that they ended up broke in a Vegas motel. They have all since blocked her. Her reputation as a charismatic leader has been replaced by one of a manipulative user who crashed and burned. She tried to post a long, rambling my side of the story on social media, but without the full context, it just made her sound unhinged. As for me, the apartment has never been cleaner. The second bedroom is now a functioning home gym. It's quiet. Sometimes, I'll admit, it's a little too quiet. There's a brief pang of something. Not loss, exactly, but the ghost of what I thought I had. It was a comfortable illusion. But then I think of that couch conversation, of her expectant, entitled face, and the feeling passes. I don't think she's learned a thing. In her story, she will always be the victim, and I will be the villain. People like Jessica don't have epiphanies. They just look for a new audience. And that's fine. I didn't do this to teach her a lesson. I did it because when someone pushes you, methodically and without remorse, into a corner, sometimes the only way out is to push back with cold, hard, documented reality. She wanted me to pay for fantasy. Instead, I just gave her what she deserved, a budget-friendly trip back to the real world. One way, no baggage, and a court summons.